Hello and welcome to this tutorial video of SASHIMI segmentation. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain what guidelines are, how you set them, and how you can use them to improve your segmentation. So in SASHIMI, tracking of objects can only be done in the transverse plane or in the XY plane of your image. However, often there is information available about the three-dimensional structure of the volume that you're interested in segmenting by inspecting the other planes. So from version SASHIMI 1.1 and up, there's the option to view the segmentations and the image in the other orthogonal views. So simply use the drop-down menu below your image to switch to the other views. And as you can see in these other views, sometimes edges that define the volume or the muscle in this case that you're interested in segmenting are quite clearly visible. And they are not always clearly visible on the transverse plane. So what you can do is add guidelines. So it works exactly the same as adding objects. So you select the label from the label table. You click the Add button. Notice that where this previously was called the Object table, it is now called the Guides table. And you can start drawing lines. So guidelines are different from objects in that they are not closed polygons. They are simply lines that will help you segment the structures that you're interested in. So the same options are available as for as for objects. So if you press Q on the keyboard and you select the points, it will snap the points to the nearest edge. And there's also the option to, instead of representing guides by straight lines connecting the control points, by fitting a smooth or a cubic spline through it. So I'm going to set another few guidelines on other planes. I'm going to add another guideline here. I'm going to snap them to the nearest edge. Okay, so I've defined two guidelines now. Now let's have a look at the other plane. I just pressed Shift on the keyboard, and with the left mouse button you can then change the location of the crosshair, and that will mean that if I switch the plane, it will go to the plane defined by the crosshair. So now I'm switching to the XY plane. The guidelines will now appear on the transverse images as crosses. So if you want to define the object on the transverse plane, you can actually use these guidelines now to build your object. I've only set 2 right now, but of course you can set more guidelines on other planes as well, which will help you to outline the objects on the transverse images. So guidelines are not used in the segmentation. So segmentation and tracking can only be done on the transverse images, but the guidelines are there to help. So now you've learned how to set guidelines and how they can help you guide your segmentation.